Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Today we want to build on a term that has become commonplace in the classroom, STEM. As our world has become more high-tech, schools have emphasized subjects that encompass science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM for short. As our nation's largest youth development organization, 4-H plays a critical role in STEM education. By adapting its educational model of learning by doing, 4-H brings a dimension to STEM that goes beyond the schoolhouse. Here's Keith Silva with our story.
Grab some scissors, popsicle sticks, and tape. Lots of tape, because 4-H's after-school STEM program is in session.
I'm gonna make a normal house, but then I'm gonna make a bigger house that's better and cooler.
That's a good point. They've already been doing their planning.
Once a week, 4-H educator Margaret Cohen provides the tools and materials for JFK Elementary School's after-school program, 21C. The students do the rest.
We're specifically doing STEM outreach that includes science, technology, engineering, math. So is this something to help cool his computer? I love to see them create and also to be able to bring resources to them and bring them the things that they can then use to create what's already in their heads. And so it's really rewarding to see what kids can do when they're inspired.
Ricky Bailey has a much grander plan in mind for what he's building with glue and cardboard. Much grander.
If you're super creative, you can make like really big projects.
Is that what you're learning here?
Yes, I wanted to learn how to engineer.
Is that something you'd like to do when you get older?
Yes,
What are you going to engineer? Houses, roads, robots?
robots.
The core belief of 4-H is the best learning comes from doing.
Our type of outreach is hands-on, using creativity, sparking curiosity and interest in STEM. So when kids are doing STEM activities at a younger age, and then they get excited about potentially doing something that's a chemical reaction or building something, and they get to then think about, oh, in the future, maybe I do want to be an engineer, or maybe I do want to learn a little bit more about this.
The 4-H approach to learning by doing balances the education students receive in school.
It is a complement to what they learn in school, and I would say the things that stand out about it are it's fun, it's hands-on, it's sparking interest and curiosity, and building on the kids' creativity that they inherently have.
Hattie Coffey and Ida Josinski built a paper roller coaster.
Yay, work!
For these two would-be engineers, 4-H provides the chance to channel what they're learning in school into something creative.
In my class, I normally just do math problems, and here we get to build whatever we want to.
You get to be more creative. I do love math, not discounting math. We like to go above and beyond, I guess.
4 big triangles.
Mish Wilson majors in data science at UVM. She's here as a UVM STEM ambassador. It's a program that's a collaboration between UVM's College of Engineering and Mathematical Sciences and the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences.
I became STEM ambassador to just help students understand that STEM is not as scary as one would lead it to be. Because personally, as a kid, I was scared of STEM because it sounded very complicated, and I was like, I don't want to do that because it sounds like I'm going to have to be a scientist or I have to be a mathematician, but little do kids know there's other smaller things that take part in STEM that they can also do.
Wilson wants to inspire and to be inspired too.
Yes, and I especially like to see how open they were to taking on new ideas and like hearing suggestions, because we were working together in the last part to like really run through the last bits that they wanted to get through, and they're like, okay, how do we do this? And they started asking me questions, and I give them like, try to pull them into like figuring out the idea. So it was really inspiring to see them work so hard to do their project.
The goal of 4-H is to foster lifelong learners. That goes for both the students and the teachers.
Kids always inspire me, actually. You know, I don't come in and say, oh, this is exactly how you have to do it. It's, what would you like to do? And what do you think would work here? So a lot of experiential learning is building on what they already know and building on their interests. They always surprise me, and I'm always walk away like, I never thought of that, but they, you know, the third grader thought of something new that I hadn't thought of.
There's a lot to build on with Vermont 4-H's after-school STEM program. In Winooski, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
So fun and engaging. Thank you, Keith. And joining me now to talk about what 4-H provides to future scientists, engineers, and mathematicians is UVM Extension's 4-H Teen and Leadership Specialist, Lauren Traister. Thank you so much for joining us, Lauren.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So in a minute, we'll learn about some of the recent feats of engineering that 4-Hers have been working on. But first, you've been a leader when it comes to incorporating STEM education into the 4-H curriculum. So talk about those experiences and why you led that charge.
Yeah, well, a lot of people don't know that 4-H, one of our big mission mandates, is science. So because my purview is the teen audience, we started a couple of years ago offering teen science cafes, and we realized that there was a craving for science programming. And so that spurred more programming. We do Summer of Science. We have a Natural Resource Management Academy. We now offer a month-long outreach in collaboration with the College of Engineering and Mathematical Sciences so that youth can discover engineering. And some of what we'll talk about today is going to highlight some of those programs like a Rube Goldberg contest, a Create Your Own Invention, coding, career exploration. We really want our young people to understand that science, there's lots of different pathways, and it's not all about becoming a scientist, as we heard in the clip. It develops a lot of skills that can be used in a wide variety of areas in their life.
So it even works, and it's probably important to emphasize STEM for a student that isn't mathematically or scientifically inclined.
Exactly. When you say STEM, as you heard in the clip, many young people think, oh, that's being a scientist. You have to like math, you have to like science. And that's incorrect. And what we try to do through our hands-on learning activities, where we are developing creativity, really what we're doing is developing really critical life skills that our young people need throughout their life. We're developing creativity, problem solving, critical thinking, innovation, decision making, and so on. All of these things through that hands-on learning as it applies to sort of real life problems gets our young people thinking and realizing like, wow, I had fun. That was something I could do. Maybe this is something I should explore. We're hoping that they have that spark moment that they say, wow, I just did engineering. Right. Maybe I could be an engineer.
And such memorable stuff. And one of the signature events of this effort is to promote engineering was the Rube Goldberg Challenge. Love that. So let's talk about that and let's see some of it.
Yeah, so the Rube Goldberg, oh, there's a clip.
Yeah, yeah, you can talk right over it. This is just so creative, so unbelievable stuff here.
Yeah, the Rube Goldberg Challenge was based on, Rube Goldberg cartoons, and the idea is you take a very simple task and you make it overly complicated by designing several steps. So in the Rube Goldberg Challenge, the young people were challenged to learn about simple machines, and they had to use at least 3 simple machines in their design of their Rube Goldberg Challenge. They had to have at least 10 steps and decide what simple tasks they were going to make more complicated. And as we can see, they did a fantastic job designing and executing their Rube Goldberg machines.
Absolutely. And this is stuff they will never forget. I mean, and what a great thing to do during COVID. My work just, look at this stuff.
I know. I wonder how many hazards were going on in each house. Right. Like, don't step here.
And another contest that challenged students was to create their own invention. So what project stood out for you in this event?
Oh, I loved this contest because this is the brainchild of our young people. And there were 2 that really stood out for me. There was a Connect-A-Tent and there was 3D vertical farming. I love these both because both young people really came at their innovations, having some deep thinking about the problem and then really explaining their idea very well.
Yeah, really, really amazing how they've, kind of interacted with computers and everything here. And, we are in the midst of National Engineering Week. And here's a young engineer here. Look at this. This is just remarkable. So what activities are being offered to Vermont 4-H students to help them discover engineering in particular?
Yeah, so in addition to the two contests, we have a Learn to Code program that we've been offering several times since lockdown. It's a virtual Learn to Code program, and this time they're learning how to create their own chatbots using Python, which is a coding language. We've had a career exploration with an engineer from NRG Systems who talked about his 20-year career as an engineer and all of the fun things that he got to do. We have some teen science cafes that focus on engineering. We also have 4-H at home engineering activities where once a week there's an activity that young people can do on their own time to build and develop their engineering skills, like building a bridge, building what's called a button chair. They can build and design a way to carry sodas without the plastic rings. There's also a launcher where you can launch candy and try to hit a target. So all kinds of things to get them, thinking, problem solving, designing, developing, executing, all great things.
Right, and I love with the inventions how, what is this going to be used for and what is practical? The Rube Goldberg is just for fun, I think, but I love that piece as well. And Vermont 4-H's commitment to STEM education doesn't end with National Engineering Week. It also, so what can we look forward to in the future with STEM-related projects and even into the summer?
Yeah, so we have some in-person teen science cafes coming up this spring on the UVM campus that are really exciting. We're starting to plan our Summer of Science, which is going to include this year a full week-long summer exploration camp for our youth in grades 5 through 8. We also don't want to overlook our 4-H clubs that do science all year long, whether it's animal science, robotics, food science. Some clubs do coding and so on. So there's lots of ways to connect with 4-H and build your science skills.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lauren, for your leadership in the STEM challenges and all that you do for 4-H. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And to find out more about how to join 4-H or volunteer to be a leader or learn how to get involved with 4-H after school activities, visit uvm.edu/extension/youth. And that's our show for today. Thank you for joining us on Across the Fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.